Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky.
Hey everyone, Owlvine here. It's time for a little altar tour. So this is what I've got going on currently. I will zoom in and take you for a personal tour around the altar shortly. But I just kind of wanted to talk about, I guess, what's been going on for me and what led to this particular altar. I haven't shared an altar tour in quite some time. I seem to go through stages where I'm comfortable sharing my altar spaces and then I'm not. Also, the last, I don't even know how long it's been now. Probably from about mid-spring all the way through summer, I have been feeling, I suppose you could say, a bit off magically. Maybe not so much magically, more spiritually. For me, my witchcraft is very much tied into my spiritual practice as well. That is definitely not the case for everybody, nor does it need to be. And I want to stress that because a lot of people push that opinion out there that, you know, you must be religious in your witchcraft, and it's just not true. But for me, they do tie in quite closely together. And spiritually, I've been feeling, kind of very dry, I suppose. It's been kind of a tough time, and I think that happens for me, I suppose the right word would be naturally, during summer anyway. When it heats up, I tend to hibernate. You know, I don't want to spend a lot of time doing anything really. I feel like I just want to kind of hide away, and when the weather cools down, that's when I really start to come alive. I love the equinox times of the year. I absolutely love them. I've realized that for me, magically and spiritually, those are like my buzzer times, both equinoxes, both the vernal and the autumnal. Particularly the autumn equinox, because for me, I'm like, hell yes, we're coming into the darker half of the year, the colder half of the year, the half of the year where night is the longest, and that for me is very exciting. I definitely feel more creative and excited and more magical naturally during nighttime, during the darkness. And where I am here, the sun in summer sets somewhere around 9 o'clock. I think it's somewhere around 9:30 at the summer solstice, and you know, it goes down from there. And then during winter, it's like 6 o'clock, somewhere around there. It can be earlier, but usually around 6 o'clock. So yeah, I love nighttime, and I love that it gets dark earlier. There are so many amazing things about summer, I do want to say. I've been complaining a lot about summer recently, but there are a lot of amazing things about every single season. Most of my favourite things happen in the dark part of the year. Autumn is absolutely one of my favourite seasons, or fall, and I'm so excited. I've been feeling this real awakening. So I've been feeling quite like sort of blur the last few months particularly, and just the last couple of weeks, like, oh my goodness, I just feel alive. I feel awake. I feel like, you know, magic is stirring within me. And when I say magic, I don't necessarily mean spell work. Spell work is one aspect of magic, but I'm feeling the magic, and it's really, really exciting. So I haven't felt like this in a while, and I'm just so happy. I just kind of, like, I was a little bit worried about myself for a bit there, but I'm just like, yes. You know, that's something to remember, I think, for all of us, is that we go through natural cycles. We go through daily cycles, we go through weekly cycles, we go through monthly cycles. Not just if you're a woman, we all go through monthly cycles. And we all go through seasonal cycles as well. So it's been very interesting for me, kind of looking at how I feel each season, and, you know, seeing some patterns start to pop up, because I've only really noticed since kind of coming into the craft and coming into this form of my spirituality. That's when I've really begun to notice the seasons and the correlation between how I feel and the season. Largely, like before that I knew as well, like summer's always made me feel quite exposed and vulnerable. I'm not 100% sure what that's about. I have, some ideas, like, different things that have happened or whatever. Like, I understand some of that, but I don't know what it is completely. And I always knew that I liked winter. I love snuggles and warm and, that real inner time. And I love that people aren't as active, like I'm not being called to do so many things with so many people. I am quite introverted. I do have a real strong extroverted streak, but I burn out very, very quickly. So I love parties. I love weddings. I love to just get out there and go crazy for a night and just like have the best time. But then I need to recover for a week or 2 or 3 or a month or a few, kind of thing. So, well, there's a little birdie outside the window. You guys can't see him. Yeah, so I'm definitely introverted, so, that winter aspect really suits me. So anyway, I'm just so excited that it is this time of year. I'm so happy. I've had some really strong shadows coming up to sort of slap me in the face and be like, hello, we're here, and it's time to deal. So that's been fun. Can we say fun? Pretty intense. So I'm actually incredibly insecure. I am like embarrassingly insecure. And most people don't know. In fact, the only person who probably knows just how insecure I am would be my husband, because he sees all shades of good, bad, and terrifyingly ugly of me. But it's something that I go through stages with, and I'm working on very much. And, YouTube's been one part of kind of helping me deal with that stuff. The thing with YouTube is it is a massive growing tool, and, it hasn't necessarily, made anything better, but what it's done is it's brought all this stuff up. It's like, deal with this stuff or get off YouTube kind of thing, just through sharing myself publicly and that kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of this insecurity stuff's been coming up. So that's probably the best word to describe all of what it is. So I'm really feeling like, oh, and a butterfly just flew past. Oh, you guys probably want to be looking out the window right now, not the altar. Yeah, but I'm sort of looking at all this stuff and I'm being taken through a process. I really feel like a process has begun. So you guys know that I work with the Morrigan. You can see her there. And this particular artwork, I'll just mention now before I forget, I do not want to forget, is by, is it Morgan? Is that how it's pronounced? Morgan Fitzsimons. And it's actually was modelled by our Laura Daligan, which is, I just think, so cool. I fell in love with this image before I had any idea that it was modelled off Laura, but, makes so much sense. As soon as I found out, I was like, oh my gosh, of course. The Morrigan, for me, appears this way. She wears different clothes, the way I see her most, I should say. I see her in other guises as well, but I see her like this. I see her with hair like this and a face very similar to this. So as soon as I saw this image, it yelled to me. And for me, this is the strongest image of the Morrigan at this time. So I printed this off some time ago, and I went over it in fine liner to kind of make it a bit darker because I have a horrible printer. I think we're running out of ink at the time. But anyway, so I haven't been hugely devotional with the Morrigan over the last, I don't know how long. She went quiet, and for those of you who work with the Morrigan, will totally understand that. And for others of you who've heard people talk about working with the Morrigan, this kind of seems to happen, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been working with her for very long, so there is, a lot for me to learn about her. We went through this quiet time after going through a very, very intense period of working together. Like, all these things were coming up, and I was going through incredible processes and having really, really magical encounters with her. And then it all went quiet, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I just didn't know what to do with that. I also have quite pantheistic views. So I've been struggling with marrying up, working with a deity to being a pantheist, and kind of how that all fits and how that works. So I still, am working through that. But I use belief as a tool very much. So, I can step away and, view the world in a very kind of pantheist way, but I can come into sacred space and work with the Morrigan very much as a figure, as a very sort of flesh and blood, real spiritual figure. I know flesh, that doesn't make sense, but I can't think of the correct words right now. This is, I'm speaking from a kinesthetic place here, just, my feelings coming up. So I can come into this space and kind of work with her like that. And, I don't have to have it all figured out in my mind, I think, that's something to kind of remember and consider as well, as we are going through this spiritual plane, as we're trying to navigate it. We don't have to have everything figured out, and there will be things that are contradictory in your practice. There will be things that logically, but you will experience on a whole different level. There'll be things that logically aren't true or whatever, but you'll experience them. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think to step out of that adult logical mind for a time, to step into sacred space, to step into the space of magic or the space of spirit, the circle, whatever it is for you, to step into that other place, another plane. That's largely what magic is about, isn't it? What witchcraft is about. Whether you believe in deities or, energies or universal cosmos or the all, or, whatever it is that you believe in, God, angels, anything. It's all about stepping out of logical mind and into that space. I'm kind of going on a big tangent here about all this stuff. I feel like this is all just coming out of me, so I don't know. I hope that this is interesting or helpful to some people. This happens sometimes. I think it happens particularly when I'm off camera, actually. That's something interesting to note. But yeah, this is an altar space that I absolutely love. So my last altar space that I created I think around the summer solstice somewhere, from memory, but I didn't really use it very much. I wasn't plugging in at that point, and I would spend time at my altar space, and I liked it. It was pretty. It was quite different. As different as my altars get. All my altars, I think, have a very similar look to them because I use the same stuff. I cycle through the same objects, but I place them differently, or whatever. I'm not buying anything new at the moment, so I use the same kind of things, and there's a similar vibe to them. But yeah, it wasn't a thing. I wasn't using it much. And then the last week or so, like, I've so felt called. Like, I just feel the magic stirring, and I know it's that autumnal energy. And the last 3 days, or 4 days now. Today we haven't had rain. Yeah, 3 days before that we had rain, and it really actually felt like autumn was starting, and especially yesterday. Yesterday for me was beautiful. It was perfect. The other 2 days we had rain in the morning, which was amazing, and I was like, yay, autumn! But then the sun came out, and it was like so humid. It just was like, ugh. So it was a different kind of summer. But yesterday was perfect. It was really crisp air, gentle breeze blowing through, and a bit of rain, and it was just divine. So yesterday I was like, yep, today I am doing my altar. I'd been feeling that kind of the itch and the vibe, starting to come through, like, yep, I'm going to redo my altar. And but I wanted to do it when I was absolutely ready. The thing is, once I set up an altar, I want to sit down and do magic at it immediately, whether it's just sort of consecrating the space or doing a meditation or whatever it is, but I want to be in the right mind frame as soon as I set up the altar. Otherwise, I find I don't connect to it. If I'm looking at it going, oh, I need to spend time there, but I'm not ready to yet, it becomes a space that I'm not connected with. Because when I look at it, I see a space that I feel like I need to connect with, not that I am connecting with, if that makes sense. It's an anchors thing. Yeah, yesterday I was like 100% I am ready. I went and I got in the dirt yesterday. I was digging around and looking for bones. I'll show you, I've got a crow's skull that I actually buried last Lunasa, so last February in Australia, and I've just dug up yesterday, which I'm very excited about. I'm very excited to work with that piece because that was actually a gift from the Morrigan, though I didn't know it at the time. It's quite a cool story, actually. A mystery to be left for another day. I think I have maybe spoken about it before, I'm not sure. So I did that. I had my hands in the dirt, and it felt so good, and just the energies around felt so good. And I redid this altar space, and I absolutely love it. And I had some wonderful magics here yesterday. And it was interesting as I set it up. I had a different image in my mind. I had a particular thing, like a few objects that I wanted to build my whole altar space around. And a few people I've heard of, you know, when they talk about the Morrigan, they talk about how she can be quite demanding and how you can get like, no, you know, when you're doing something, it's like, no, that is not right. So as I was setting up my altar space yesterday, I was very much focused on her. I was talking about her before, and I was going to go into that more. Maybe I will after this, maybe I'm not meant to, I don't know, we'll see. So I had this, you know, thing I was setting up, and it was just like, no, that's not right, okay. And then I heard her, and I had a separate shrine set up for her, and I heard her say, I'm on the altar, I am the centerpiece of this altar. So I was like, okay, so that happened, and it all just came together very intuitively, as it generally does. But I just think it's funny that I had this one thing in mind, and it absolutely ended up not happening. Two of the pieces are still on the altar, but they're not the focal, and the other piece that I was going to have on here isn't on here at all. So that happens. Yeah, I've been waffling on for a while now, so I think I might zoom in and show you some more detail of the little bits and pieces that I have going on. Down in this corner, I have this birch tree log thing section, and it has got a tea light in there. This is very cool. So I actually, my mum bought this for me, but we saw this at a cemetery. So we went and scattered my grandfather's ashes after like 8 or 9 years, after he passed quite recently. It was just before Christmas. We went and did that, and I saw these there, and my mum and I, because they have a gift shop at the cemetery. It's Springvale Cemetery for anyone in Melbourne, so it's huge, and it's got this massive gift store with amazing things in it, you guys. Like, I would go shopping at the cemetery. But they had these in there, and I said to Mum, oh, I've always wanted one of those, and we left, and she told me she actually ended up buying it for me as soon as I left. So that was really cool. And I have this as a little piece of Baba Yaga on the altar space. This altar space is very much for the Morrigan, but there's one piece for Baba, and there's one piece for the Horned God, or the Devil as well. So this is Baba's little piece, and I have my Shades of a Woods Witch. I was going to say that, and then I was like, no, that's wrong. No, it is. Shades of a Woods Witch spell orb, which is from Starry Supplies. And this is always on my altar or around my altar somewhere. I feel very, very drawn to the energies that were infused into this piece, and into the oil as well, which is just here as well. This is an oil that I love working with, and I'm working with very closely at this time. So I love the energies of these two. So they're on here. And down here I have this little, do you want to look at yourself? Hopefully you don't look at me. Mirror. Oh, there I am. Oh, it's a bit scary. Yeah, I'm not going to show you anymore. I have this little mirror, and this is to do affirmations with. I'm focusing on a magical affirmation at the moment. And so I look at myself in this mirror when I'm doing my daily ritual, my daily practice, and say the affirmation. And this is a piece of purple goldstone, which was a gift from me, from the beautiful Maria. And over here, this is Morrigan prayer beads, and I love Love, love, love this piece. And Maria actually made these. Now Maria has an Etsy store, and I'm going to put her Etsy store down below. I didn't realize when she first gave these things to me that she actually has an Etsy store. So when I found out, I was super excited, and she makes some really, really beautiful wild witch creations. So I would definitely recommend checking out her store, which will be down below. And I'll put Starry Eyed Supplies link down below as well. And in this bowl here, this is the crow skull that I dug up yesterday. So this was a gift. Oh no. Oh no. Oh look, Joey, too, if you're watching, I found this weird little like rubber ring thing somewhere, and I was like, I kept it for a while, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just keep things sometimes. And then when I got the orb, I was like, oh my god, where's that thing? It will be perfect. And so it's the stand that I use for this now. Anyway, stay there. Yeah, so the skull, I'm probably actually not going to go into that. Yeah, but I've got some fuchsia flowers in there, and it's on a bed of basil and mugwort in there. So let's move over here. There is my darling Morrigan hanging out there. I'm trying to do this like, I wish my camera like automatically focused. All right. That's okay, we can work with that. Let's jump over the other side. I have a crow's foot here. In here, in this little skull, I'm going to bring this up closer to show you. This is an offering little dish that I have for the Morrigan, and in here there's mugwort and some juniper berries. This gorgeous ivy leaf here, and this is a moth that my husband found for me a while ago. And moths have a correlation with the Morrigan, so hence that is in there, and moths have always been an animal that's been around me. And at the back here I have an offering jar, which I'm not going to talk about right now, but it has a little skull on it, and that was from Earthly Alchemy, from one of the boxes that they sent me. So there's the little skull I put on there yesterday. The back here I have my little cauldron, and I have an incense stick, which is for the Morrigan, which is why it's not burning now, it's just for her. And then obsidian in here, and some Palo Santo. Actually, you know what you guys want? There's a bit of this. That's what you want. And that's all sitting in salt over there. Have some nice Santo. A nice smudge for you if you're needing to let go, needing to bring in. I love Palo Santo. I've only recently actually tried it. This is my first ever stick that I've ever had, and it is beautiful. It smells like frankincense, and it's absolutely amazing. Down here I have these little berries. This came on a present from my mum. She put all these on our presents. I don't know, but I really liked them. And they look like little eyeballs. I don't even know if I was holding them in front of you guys right now. This is like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening in this video. But they remind me of the Morrigan. Red eyes, dots, just, that's her. And down here I have the Wild Unknown Animals Spirit deck. There's a beaver. Do you beaver? That's what I'm working with this season. So I always work with my Druidcraft Tarot, which is on here as well. And I was like, which Oracle deck am I going to work with? I work more closely with Oracle decks because I haven't fully learnt the Tarot yet. But with Oracle decks, I can just dive right in with what I know right now. I just find that without knowing the system, I can just purely 100% comfortably use my intuition and dive straight in and get intense powerful messages. And I do that with the tarot as well, but because I'm learning it too, I like to read the book as I go, and kind of I'm trying to learn the system as well. So I feel like because there is a system to it, it's nice to use the system as well, and it works quite powerfully. And then up top I have my music bowl, of course. Let me just music bowl a little bit for you. Thank you, music bowl. Wasn't quite perfect, but you guys get the idea. And then back here on the side, I have sage smudge stick. I love sage. There is some sage haters out there, but I really like it. I love the smell. For me, like, I think for a lot of people, it's very common. You know, they're a bit like, sage, common. But I love it, and for me, like, I was never exposed to this stuff before, you know. I only, when I first came into the craft, you know, I really wanted to get some sage, and I couldn't burn anywhere I was at the house before, because of the people living there, you know, they didn't like smells. So for me, it's just like this huge, amazing thing, and it like represents my witchcraft freedom, you know, even though it's not necessarily, you know, a witchcrafty thing, more of a spiritual thing. But anyway, yeah, so I love my sage. And next to that is I think it's a kookaburra feather. I'm not 100% sure, but I use that as the wafting feather. And then down on the, let's zoom in. Down there is snake skin. So I have snake skin around. Snakes to me really speak of transformation, you know, shedding, obviously, shedding that old skin, the old stuff that needs to go, and revealing the new underneath. So snakes are very powerful, and they are definitely an animal that is associated with the Morrigan as well. So I feel it's very appropriate for this time where I feel like she's calling me very deeply. You know, for me, the Morrigan is very much about personal sovereignty. That's the journey that I'm going through with her at this time. You know, she is so much more than that, but I mean, personal sovereignty is huge, right? And that's kind of the calling of my spiritual life, and has been ever since I stepped away from my previous spirituality. Even before that, you know, that was the cry of my heart. And always has been. I think, like, for years it has been anyway. And yeah, so personal sovereignty is massive, and I feel like the snake kind of is an excellent metaphor for that. And going up here, I don't know if this is going to be jumpy or not. It's my black skull, which I love, and that is there as a representation of the horned god at this time, or the devil. There may be people who don't like me mixing the two. I mean, look, there's always people who don't like everything. There's always going to be someone, right? But I very much, sort of the divine masculine side for me, I suppose, is kind of a group of deities, or like a group of a symbolic group of energies. No, that's not right either. A group of energies that symbolize masculinity. I don't know. But anyway, so that's what that is there. And behind that is my card for the year. So my card for this year is the Hanged Man, and in the Osho Zen Tarot, the card is New Vision, which I absolutely love. So I have that on my altar. I have the Hanged Man card from the Druidcraft Tarot on my desk, but this is the one that I have on my altar. New Vision, and I'm so up for that. And then up behind that, I have a bunch of crow feathers and black and blue rooster feathers. Obviously they're not naturally blue, they have been dyed. And they were a gift from my sister-in-law. And at the back there, usually I have lots of things on the sill, but this time I didn't feel to put any there except for the crocodile skull. And to me, crocodiles have a very serpentine energy. If you see the way they move through the water, you know, they move a lot like a snake. And to me, she is back there in protection mode. She is, I don't know, I can just see that image of her moving like that. So she's protecting this spiritual and magical space. And then up next to it, I have my stang there, which I've had there for a while. So I think that's been in previous videos, if you want to look at that closer. Now let's zoom out a little bit. This is like fully testing, like, oh gosh, normally I hand hold. Today I'm not hand holding. So let's go down here to the front. So down here I have a beautiful piece of lava rock, and that was a piece that I found on the beach where I used to live, and it has really, really beautiful energies. That, like, it really does have fiery as well as water elemental qualities to it. Obviously, it came from the ocean and it came from a volcano. So, well, yeah, that's where it was birthed. So, yeah, I really love that piece, and I just wanted to bring a bit more of that fiery element to the altar space as well. I'm big on fire, as you guys know, so that's there. And then on top of that, I have my grandmother's rosary beads with my pentacle on there. And I'm actually going to get a close picture of this. I realized that I've never shown you guys like the detail in it. I'll put that up on Instagram. If you guys are interested, I have a, if I do say so myself, pretty great Instagram. I'm actually very proud of it, and I really enjoy photography. So if you want to check it out, check it out. And yeah, I'm going to take a picture of that. And then next to it, I have this, oh, what is it called? Is it, it's like Kumbala or Kabbalah or something. It's a K, starts with K. Something jasper, anyway, something jasper, and that is an angel. I've not been big on angels. I've never been really into angels. Even, you know, when I was a Christian and everything, like, I just never connected with the angelic energy. But I've been feeling like they've been coming in a little bit more. It seems like at the moment everyone is talking about them, and it's one of those things, right? Like, probably no one extra is talking about them, but I just keep hearing it. So we'll see what happens with that. But I felt like it was perfect for her because she was Catholic, obviously, with the rosary beads there. But yeah, so I have that sitting with her, and that very much is her little spot happening there, I guess. And at the back there, some beautiful incense burning, as you can see. And then the spiderweb thing is actually like a cookie presser. It was like the only cool Halloween thing that they had at my local grocery store. So I bought these cookie presser sets, and I still haven't made any cookies. So, but I liked the little spider web. I love spider webs. I love spiders, even though they scare the shit out of me. But I have that there because spiders have been everywhere lately. They come out, you know, in the heat, but especially for some reason once it starts to get humid, and I guess because all the bugs come out then. So we've been having a lot more spiders. We have some wicked cool webs in the backyard. I tried to take a photo yesterday of one for you guys, but I just couldn't get it because there isn't a dark enough background behind it. But it was all covered in dewdrops, and it was seriously about 4 times the size of my head. It was amazing. But I guess it's another thing you shall never see. I need to get more. I need to be taking more and more photos because there are so many beautiful little things that I see every day, and I want to share those details with you guys, you know. I am really talking in this video. This is going to be a long video, but this is nice. I feel like this is a nice hangout space. I just want to hang out with you guys. Anyway, at the back there, further back, we have a lantern. So my husband purchased that for me, I think. Or did I purchase it for myself for my birthday? I can't remember. Anyway, I got it, and I really like it. It's very boho. I love the colours in it, so that's back there as well. And then over here, Crow is the centerpiece here at the back. That is an image which I is a symbol of my spirit guide, my animal totem, and my familiar. So that is an animal, you know, that is spirit that I spiritually work with. Obviously, I don't have an actual crow. Crow is a very, very strong symbol in my life and has been for a really long time. I remember as a young child, like, I always wanted a crow. I always wanted to be around crows. I don't know what that was, and my mum would always tell me how horrible they were. You know, they're scavengers. Oh, crows. You guys, my mum is like so uptight and normal. It's a wonder and a mystery and probably a horror to her that I turned out the way I did. But anyway, there you go. It's going to happen whether it's, you know, you like it or not, mum. So anyway, crows have always been around for me, and I love them, and I connect very deeply with them, and I work with them on the astral as well. So I have a particular animal spirit guide that I work with and shift with, and that's an image of that represents him anyway. And then down in front of that, let me show you a little bit closer. Is this bone here. I have shared this in more detail. I shared it on Starting Out Solitary in a video I did for them, just showing unique magical tools. So I will link that down below as well if you guys want to check it out. But this was a gift as well that I received when walking through a forest. And I really love it, and this is an intensely powerful tool for me. It's something I connect with straight away, and every time I pick it up, including right now, I can just feel it start to buzz. It absolutely buzzes with energy. And then down here, I have like this setup happening. So it's almost like it's a crystal grid. It's a crystal grid. So in the middle I have my quartz generator, and I love this crystal. I adore this crystal, and it is a really powerful focal point, I feel. And I got it for you guys, like the most insane bargain of a lifetime. So it just fills me with such good feelings. So around it I have obsidian arrowheads, and they're pointed in the actual directions, so north, south, west, east. So those are those directions. And then I have chevron amethyst here, and then around the edges here I have various different pieces of bone. These are all bones that my son has found in different places. I think some of them come from school, some of them come from the land here, but he collects bones and he's let me borrow them for the time being. He wants to share them with me, which is very sweet. So he started his own collections now, which I think is really cool, because he knows that I love collecting all this stuff too. So that's cool. And then each piece has a chevron amethyst with it as well. And then at the front here I have a piece of selenite, which I think you can see. Yes, you can see. And then a piece of amethyst, and this was one of my very first crystals actually. And then I have a little jar here which has some English fox fur and some English teeth, and this was a gift from Runita that I received some time ago, and I really love it. And I feel like fox is one of those shifting animals too, you know. It is a creature of the dawn and the dusk, of the in-between times, you know, so I feel like it's perfect for these equinox energies and for the things that I'm wanting to use to achieve my spiritual goals, I suppose. So fox is there as well. Over to the side, I feel like I'm doing pretty well with this camera stuff. Not amazing, but pretty well. I have my Druidcraft tarot deck here. Let's see what we get. 3 of Pentacles. I don't know what that means, but you tarot people tell me. 3 of Pentacles. And a beautiful piece of carnelian here. And then here I have some a little lavender bunch, and this was actually a gift from Amethyst. And this arrived on Christmas Day, which is really cool. And the incense, what's it called? Oh, sorry. It's not a coffin, like the stick thing over there. I don't know what, you know, that thing. The incense thing over there that the incense is burning in currently. That was also a gift from her. And then I have my Witch's Winter Mist, because hell fuck yeah, it's almost winter. And I love this. Oh, it's so delicious. And I spray that everywhere. And on me. Yes. Candle, and then a crow's wing here. Now this cool thing right here, I purchased this from it was like a junk store. So the guy went out and he bought all these things secondhand, all these vintage items. It's a really cool place, and I ended up purchasing this from him. I loved it because it had like this lion head on it there, and I had no idea what I was going to do with it. And it's actual copper as well, and I got a really good deal on it. It was very inexpensive, which is cool. And a piece that I adore. But I had it sitting around for a while because I was like, I have no idea what to do with it. And then I brought it into my last altar and then into this one as well, and I love it. And so I've got all these sticks in there. Let's move that up a little bit so you can see. Sticky sticks, and these are all from my rose bush outside that I cut off at the end of last season. So yeah, they're just cool sticks that I have there. And it's, for me, I'm getting stuck now. It's like a forest, and it symbolizes to me coming into that winter time, you know, where the trees become bare and there's still one little leaf on there, which is cool. Yeah, so I really love that. So that is my altar space, you guys. Thank you so much if you have stuck with me, because I know this has been really, really long. I probably have to like leave and do stuff now. I've just waffled on. But I wanted to say, okay, so hang on, wait. So I'm going to have a word again. I'm going to have a code word that if you've watched this whole thing, I want you to put down below. Now, I loved it. Last time there was so many of you that had actually watched me all the way through. I was so surprised. I thought there might be like one or two. The last code word was marshmallows. Now, guys, after answering comments, I was craving marshmallows hardcore. Like, I went out and bought myself some marshmallows because I was like, I can't take it anymore. I want marshmallows so bad. I haven't had them in years before that. So I got to pick like a healthy word, or a word that has nothing to do with food. So what's going to be our fun word this time? How about motorbike helmets? I know that's 2 words and I know it's random, but that just popped into my head. So motorbike helmets. If you've watched this all the way through, you are a star and you are one of my favorite people in the entire world. No joke. Yeah, so let me know. That would be really cool. Oh, and I didn't mention, I just realized the thing that the crystals are sitting on is something that I picked up for free, actually. It looks like a slab of a tree, but it's actually, well, that's what, yeah, it's made to look like that, and it's actually a piece of concrete, I think, or something equally as heavy anyway. And someone was throwing out a bunch of like gardening statues and like garden statues and things like that, and that was there, so I picked that up quite some time ago, and I've had it sitting outside, and I decided to bring it in. I would love like a proper slab of wood, but I don't have that right now, so I'm using this, and that's what that's on. And it's also sitting on, the generator in the middle is sitting on obsidian too. So anyway, that's that. I feel like I've covered everything pretty well. Thank you so much for watching. I really wanted to hang out with you guys today, so I've blabbered on about all this stuff, and there are going to be some people who are like, oh my gosh. But I appreciate you so much for sticking with me, and I love you so much, and I hope you're having an amazing equinox, and thank you for watching what is probably my longest video to date. The last one was the longest to date, and I think we have smashed that out of the park today. Wishing you so much love and many, many blessings, and remember to say motorbike helmets. Alright, I love you guys. Bye.